Welcome everybody to the Double J podcast with Jack and Giovanni. Now Giovanni will not be here today, so joining me is my friend Sam Fiera. Sam, how's it going today, man?
It's going good. It's going good.
Now, Sam, you are a big soccer guy, and we're gonna go in college football, but what do you want to talk about for soccer? Any big soccer news coming out?
Not really. The Champions League today and tomorrow, group stage games. Messi back from his injury. I think he broke his arm, but yeah, he's looking good now. So he's gonna be back on the field today. Yeah, that's pretty much it. There's not much going on right now.
So college basketball starting tonight, everybody, and kind of the big games today are Duke and Kentucky and Kansas and Michigan State. And tonight is the first time we get to see the Duke Blue Devils, who have been probably the most hyped team that I can remember, bringing in the top 3 recruits and the top 10 recruit freshmen into their team. And Sam, I want to ask you, just because we talk about college basketball sometimes, do you think this Duke team coming in tonight is overhyped, or you think they're the right hype?
I think that people are overhyping them, but I think that they can prove themselves wrong with Zion Williamson and all them. Like, there's no way they're not gonna be overrated.
You think that people are gonna people are talking them so much, but you think they can back that up?
Yeah, they can definitely back that up.
Now, talking about college basketball, what team could you see going and winning that national championship before the year starts?
I can't go with anyone else but Duke, to be honest. I don't really think of another team that can actually win this.
You don't think the freshmen by Duke can, struggle with the?
I mean,
They don't have enough experience, so I mean, do you think that could hurt them, or do you think they'll group together well during the season and they'll help them in the tournament?
I just think there's way too much talent in that team to not win. I don't know. I don't think there's another team that will beat them. There's no way.
Now, is there anything else we might be surprised by in this college basketball season, Sam?
Indiana University, they got some nice little players over there.
Yeah,
Romeo Langford, my guy, 5-star recruit. He's
yeah.
gonna ball up.
I have some mixed feelings about IU basketball. Romeo Langford is definitely a top basketball player. I'm not gonna be wrong. He is a lottery pick, but I don't know if this IU team is ready for the hype. So we'll see how that goes. But I know you're big on Bull, the center at
Oh
Oregon.
yeah,
You're a
Bull.
big Bull guy. What
Big
are you trying to
Bull
expect
fan.
from Bull, Sam?
Bull fan's gonna ball this year. I'm projecting a number 3 pick in the NBA draft 2019.
Number 3 pick.
Big bold statement, but it's gonna happen.
That's a bold statement. So tonight also is when the college football rankings come out. We had a lot of action this week in the college football. We actually had a poll on our Twitter of 4 teams likely to get upset. None of those teams lost. The 4 teams, they're kind of obvious. Most of the world expects Alabama at 1, Clemson at 2, Notre Dame at 3, and the Michigan Wolverines at 4. After that, it's kind of a toss-up game, but those are the 4 expected teams to be in the playoff at this time. Now, I want to go on a little rant tonight, Sam, or today. I've been getting a lot of criticism on Notre Dame's schedule, and I am just tired of hearing it, Sam. I am tired of hearing Notre Dame has an easy schedule. Notre Dame is required to play 5 ACC teams. They always play their Navy game. They always play the USC game, and now they have the rivalry game with Stanford and Michigan. So when you play 5 ACC teams, it's not like you get to pick what teams you like. It goes in a certain order. And it's not like Notre Dame can control how those teams play. So I'm really tired of people criticizing Notre Dame's schedule, saying they play no one. If you do remember, they beat Michigan. They beat a Stanford team with Heisman hopeful Bryce Love. I am tired of hearing people criticize Notre Dame's schedule. They have done it. They have played teams. They have traveled, and they have won those games. They're 9-0, trying to come in at number 3 tonight. I am tired of people saying Notre Dame's schedule is not good enough. Okay.
Mad.
I am. I'm just a little frustrated. I'm a big Notre Dame fan, so people criticize their schedule when it's obviously not an easy schedule. It kind of gets my temper a little up. So we'll go to the NFL. The Bears defeated the Bills in a pretty decisive game without their star defenseman, Khalil Mack. That's the second game in a row he's missed. Those were his first 2 games he's actually missed in his NFL career.
Is he injured?
Yeah, he has an ankle problem right now. Nagy wanted to rest him because the Bears do have a lot of big division games coming up. 3 in the next 11 days, and this.
Oh, you're saying he'll be back next week?
He's expected to be back next week.
Okay.
He's been playing, practicing limited. He should be back. Do you think the Bears are the real deal coming in to this game against the Lions, first in the NFC North, past the first half of the NFL season?
I'm not really sure. I think they can put up a chance, but not a big. I don't have a big knowledge on football, so I'm not really sure. But what I'm seeing from the Bears recently. It's looking good.
Yeah, and the good thing from the Bears is they're winning the games they're supposed to, and besides that, Miami game. But they're how do I say this? They're winning games at a good level. They're people say they have an easy schedule the first half. They do, but it's showing the team how to win football games, and they've struggled. Yes, they've struggled against that Packers team. They struggled against the Patriots and the Dolphins, but still, they've showed that they can play a game. And I think without Mac, this defense showing if someone gets hurt and they're able to pick that slack up, I'm like happy that they can do that. So Bears, they're questionable right now because it's a little questionable for me. And Sam, we were kind of talking about this before the podcast too. LeVeon Bell, he has not been with the Steelers at all this year. He's been a little mad about the franchise tag and everything.
Yeah.
Yesterday he tweeted, "Farewell Miami," because he trains in Miami, and next week is the deadline for him to return. If he does not come back next week, he is out for the rest of the year. And do you think he's coming back after tweeting "Farewell Miami"?
I mean, farewell Miami can mean anything.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And it's of course
very vague.
Of course, a lot of Steelers fans are like, "Oh, he's coming back," and everything.
Yeah.
So it's really questionable, but they kind of don't even need him. I mean, James Conner is definitely stepping up. I mean, don't get me wrong, Le'Veon Bell is the top running back in the NFL, but James Conner has definitely picked it up for you Steelers fans. You know what I'm talking about. We're here at Lake Central High School. It's our high school, Sam. Right now for Lake Central sports, nothing really going on. Next week, girls and boys basketball starts.
Yeah.
We just finished our fall sports season. Boys soccer lost in the sectionals to Munster. Our football team lost the sectionals to Maryville in a tough game. Got to see a D1 commit, Justin Ramsey, on that Maryville team. Girls soccer won sectional champs. Good for them. I mean, with the regionals, unfortunately lost.
That's their first one in, 3-4 years?
Yeah, it's a big thing. So good to see the girls soccer team rise up. Boys basketball going to be really interesting to see for Lake Central, losing 4 starters in the names of Derek Hobbs, Justin Graciano, Keon Sellers, and Connor Thomas. The only returning starter is Jack Davis. So it's going to be interesting to see how those Indians replace those starters, I should say, with a lot of young kids coming in. I mean, there are a lot of teams in this DAC that are going to step it up because you've got Munster with a powerful senior team. EC, they're okay. Crown Point, they've got a lot of seniors. Valpo's got Brandon Newman, the Purdue commit, so it's going to be fun to watch him. So for LC's boys basketball team, it's going to be an interesting road, I should say, on things go. For the girls basketball team, Coach Hummenthal comes in winning a sectional championship. It was a huge win for them. I think it was their second straight or third straight, can't really remember. Unfortunately, lost to Penn, the regional finals, in the last-second shot by Penn.
Yeah, that was rough.
Huppenthal,
I remember watching that. That was heartbreaking.
Yeah, Huppenthal comes in. He loses Lawrence. He loses 6 seniors. Not all of them are starters, but he loses 6 seniors as well. Lawrence Mullins, Lauren Latowski, Rachel Robards, Taylor Kirkwood, Albrianna Gibbs. I think I'm forgetting someone else, but Cheyenne Mathis, but still. The girls' basketball team, we know a girl on the basketball team, Bailey Furman. She said, on paper, they look not good.
Yeah.
But on the court, they look really good. And it's going to be interesting to see because Megan Long is coming back after, I'm pretty sure she tore her ACL last year when she was a big threat because she's a really good player. And then you got Sarah Zabrecki coming in, who's almost one of the most talked players around here for girls basketball.
Sharpshooter.
Yeah, junior coming in. She's got one more year after this, too. So she's definitely trying to make some noise in her junior year for the Lake Central Indians. And that's about it for, sports here right now. We're kind of in like a dry spot.
Yeah.
Later in our podcast, we'll definitely talk about some Lake Central sports going on. If you don't follow our social media, come on, go follow us. We got SoundCloud, Twitter. We are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts. All our podcasts will be recorded on Tuesdays. We'll alert you on Twitter if anything changes. Our Twitter is Double J Podcast. Our SoundCloud is Double J Podcast. And we'd like to thank Michael Pucci for helping us right now. EIC for Lake Central Television right now for helping us do this. Really appreciate it. So like we said, if you need to be alert, just go on our Twitter. If you have any questions, just ask us on Twitter, DM us, or anything. I mean, we do fan questions, and right now, we're actually going to go to that.
Going to go to fan questions.
We're going to go to. We have 2 fan questions.
2 fan questions.
One is from Matthew, Florida. He goes, who will be your 6 playoff teams from the AFC and the NFC in order?
Yeah, that's a question for you.
That's a tough one. And it's a tough one for me because when he texted me this, it kind of made me think about it because I'll go with the AFC just for that. I think the Chiefs are going to come out of that being, the best team. I mean, they're insane, Sam. I mean, Patrick Mahomes at quarterback, that offense is just rolling. I gotta go with the Patriots at number 2. Tom Brady. I mean, we all doubted on Tom Brady when they lost to the Lions. We all said, "Oh, they're done," but
It's Tom Brady.
they even beat the Chiefs too this year, and they're back. Number 3, I'm gonna have to go with I'll go with the Houston Texans. They've been playing a lot of good football lately with Deshaun Watson at quarterback. They just acquired Demaryius Thomas, old Broncos receiver, so they are getting a little help right there after Will Fuller. I love Will Fuller, Sam. He got to get injured towards ACL. It's really sad to see that, Sam. They were a good team, not really based on a running back, J.J. Watt, who has been a huge stepping stone for them. Who else am I forgetting on this? I've got Chiefs. I've got the Patriots.
Yeah, number 4.
I've got the Texans. Number 4. I'm trying to think of the team. I can't even think of it right now, Sam. Jeez. Well, I know my wild card. It's the Chargers and Bengals, and I say that because the Chargers are 6-2 right now, and there's only one team in their way of winning that division, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
So you kind of really can't do anything about that because it's the Kansas City Chiefs and they're playing some good ball right now. Then you got the Bengals in that last wild card spot. I think Andy Dalton's a great regular season quarterback. Understand how I emphasize regular season. He is not good in the playoffs, but he is good in the regular season. AJ Green, one of the top receivers in the NFL, definitely could make a push. I mean, Bengals are really good in the regular season. It's just they just seem to fall apart in the the playoffs, and I don't know why. I mean, it just seems like they were I think the 1 seed one year, they played a wild card team at home and they lost. So don't understand what's wrong with them. We'll go to the NFC. Number 1, it's got to be the Saints in my mind. Saints just beat the Rams, dethroned them. Huge game in New Orleans and a huge win for them. Number 2, going to go to the LA Rams. They're not bad, but I have to give number 1 to the Saints since the Saints did beat them. Number 3, I'm going to go with the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
I'm very optimistic, I should say, but they can surprise me at times. I did not go into this year thinking they'd be this good. They have exceeded expectations in my mind. So it's really cool to see that. I think they'll win out that division in my mind. I feel like this team has got so many weapons on offense and defense that they're not capable of losing this division. I really think they should, but from them and the Vikings, it's just a toss-up because both of them are just dead close. Just because the Vikings tied the Packers, so it can go any way, and that's the thing that sucks for a Bears fan because anyway. I mean, as a Bears fan, you can be looking at the playoffs one day and then, you're out of the playoffs the next day. So it's really hard, to see that.
Yeah.
So number 4, it's a toss-up because it's the NFC East. You've got the Redskins, the Eagles. The Cowboys lost last night, so I'm not going to go with them. I'm going to go with the Eagles. They just acquired Detroit Lions receiver Golden Tate. Carson Wentz is kind of getting his groove back after that miserable injury last year. So I'm going to go with the Eagles to go in that 4 spot. The 5th spot's the Carolina Panthers. They're like the Chargers in my mind. They're 6-2 right now. The only team in their way is the New Orleans Saints, who are really good, so you can't really do anything about that. And then the 6th is really up for grabs. You've got the Falcons, you've got the Vikings, maybe the Bears. You've got the Packers. You never know with Aaron Rodgers. He's a bad man. You never know what he can do. So really, Matt, I don't really know. This is a hard question. I hope I helped you with that answer. It's a hard question. I mean, going into, I think, Week 10, try to know how close these divisions are and what's going to happen. It's kind of hard to predict. Our second question is by Jared Sindick. Jared actually gave us a shout-out yesterday on his Twitter. Thank you, Jared. We really appreciate it. His question is, should Aaron Rodgers demand a trade if they don't win a division? Ooh.
Yes.
You think so? And I agree with you too, Sam, and I want to kind of elaborate on that. Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time in my mind. He's a top 5 quarterback. So for Aaron Rodgers, it's kind of frustrating when you're not on a team that can't win when you're one of the best of all. It's like LeBron and Lakers.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But when you're Aaron Rodgers and you're coming back all the time and you've got he doesn't have anyone anymore. I mean, don't get me wrong, he has Devontae Adams and Jimmy Graham. But you look at Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, Kareem Hunt, Travis Kelce. I mean, In my mind, Aaron Rodgers should demand a trade if they don't win a division. I mean, the NFC North is really up for grabs, and I have never seen it like this before because it's always been Aaron Rodgers or lately the Vikings, but it's always been Aaron Rodgers' division because he's just ruled the NFL these past years. If he does want to get traded, I think he needs to go to the New York Giants.
It would be nice to see him on a new team. I think.
Well, yeah, it would as Bears fans because he just ruins our dreams.
Yeah.
He takes the playoffs away from us. He just ruins everything for Bears fans. But no, I'd see him go to the Giants because the Giants have Odell Beckham, Saquon Barkley, Sterling Shepard, Evan Ingram. I really feel like he'd fit with that team. They have Eli Manning at quarterback, who is mediocre at quarterback. I should say he's not
too good.
He's just not the Super Bowl quarterback he was back then when he defeated Tom Brady. So if you're Aaron Rodgers, if you do not win that division, Jared, I'm going to have to say he should get traded. And if I think a team, I'm going to have to go with the New York Giants, if anyone. Sam, do you have a team, or do you think, just in general, just should get traded?
I'm only thinking of one team, and it's the New York Giants.
That's good, Sam. That's good. Okay, let's go to the NBA. And, we're in Northwest Indiana, so we're big Chicago fans. And the Bulls won last night. But there is something wrong with the Bulls, Sam. I mean, they're just playing below average right now, and I mean they do have some talent on that team.
Is it below average though?
I think so.
I think we're used to below average at this point.
Okay, for the last 2 years, yes, but we haven't had this much of a talented team since it was Derrick Rose, Jimmy Butler, Joakim Noah. But Chris Dunn is out, Lauri Markkanen is out, but Zach LaVine is picking it up. But what do you think is wrong with the Bulls right now going into like the third week of the NBA?
I'm not sure. I have no clue. I mean, they're missing a lot of guys. That's probably key, but they just need to get their chemistry up.
Yeah, and it's weird because Zach LaVine is putting up MVP numbers, but his team is just not supporting him. I mean, he put up his career high last night in a double overtime game, but I think he's put up 20 points every game this year, so it's really frustrating for Zach LaVine for that to happen. Second, we've been we pay attention to basketball. Is it unfair playing the Warriors now? I mean, it's getting unfair in my mind.
Yeah, no, it's got to a point where you just know you're not gonna beat them. Like there's no beating them.
They're demolishing these teams without DeMarcus Cousins, who's their star center.
Yeah.
And I said DeMarcus Cousins might ruin this team chemistry, but still.
I don't think he will. I think he'll just add to it.
You've got Klay Thompson, who's putting up the most three-pointers in the game.
Yeah.
You've got Steph Curry, who makes all these threes. And you've got the best shooter, in my mind, Kevin Durant.
In the league, Kevin Durant.
And then you got Draymond Green, who is he's inconsistent. But still, it's getting unfair. I mean, they are just demolishing opponents. Their only losses to the Nuggets, but still, I mean, when three of your players put up 40 points individually in a week, come on, I have never seen that in the NBA ever before.
Yeah, it's rough.
It is rough. I mean, for teams especially try to succeed, I mean, the new format in the NBA is like, how are we going to beat the Warriors? It's not how are we going to win a conference or anything. It's like, are we good enough to beat the Warriors? Or are we just going to give up? And
do you think there's a team good enough to beat the Warriors?
I think there's teams good enough to beat the Warriors. I think the Celtics are. I think Kyrie Irving, Gordon Hayward, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. I think that's a good young core. I was going to say the Lakers, but they're just struggling right now. We'll talk about that. We'll actually talk about that next. But
what about the Rockets? Not doing
they are struggling either. Yeah, they're struggling too. I mean, they won yesterday against the Pacers, but still, I mean, they're struggling. I didn't really think going for Carmelo Anthony was the smartest choice.
Yeah, no, it was not a smart move.
But still, the Nuggets beat them.
Yeah.
The Nuggets beat the Celtics last night too. That could be a threat, which is really weird to say. The Denver Nuggets can be a threat to the Warriors. They are missing Michael Porter Jr., their pick in the NBA draft, he was supposed to be number one pick, but he has so many injuries in college. It really just down to
he's injured right now.
Yeah, he's dealing with some back problems still. But yeah, the Nuggets, they're like a questionable team because they're only have one loss right now. Jamal Murray put up about 47 points, I think, last night. They have I'm gonna say this wrong, but Nikola Jokic. I'm going to say that wrong, I think, but
he's a beast.
A lot of fans here at LC like him. I see a lot of jerseys of him, and he's a beast, like you were talking about. They have a lot of young guys, and I really feel like this team is on a run. The last time they were really on a run was when they had prime Carmelo Anthony, or I should say young J.R. Smith, kind of an old Allen Iverson, and Marcus Camby at center. So it's kind of cool to see the Nuggets coming back up on top. And then talking about the NBA, Lakers struggling a lot, and we can tell they're struggling. I mean, they were down by 30, I think, against the Raptors the other night at home, and they should be able to compete with them.
Yeah, something's not working over there.
Is LeBron's legacy ruined if the Lakers keep struggling?
No.
Do you think people will hang this against them? Let's go in the future. Lakers don't make the playoffs; they're under 500. Do you think people will hang that against LeBron James?
Well, you got to remember that the Lakers were struggling before LeBron even joined.
Yeah.
It's not like they're struggling because LeBron is there.
But there's a lot of sports fans that like to put the blame all on one guy.
Yeah, you can't.
And they're
you
all going
can't
to
do
put that on LeBron if they can't succeed because LeBron is
Well, I
the
mean,
savior.
look at the Cavaliers. Without LeBron, they're nothing.
Oh, yeah, there are nothing right now. And everyone wants to leave that team. J.R. Smith wants to get traded. Kevin Love is hurt. This team
Is Kevin Love hurt?
I think so. I mean,
heard he's been faking some stuff.
I don't
over
know,
there.
Sam. He might be hurt, honestly. But, you know, people talk about LeBron's legacy ruined. And you got to remember sometimes Michael Jordan's legacy, too. When he got old, he went to the Wizards. They weren't that good either. I mean, people don't really talk about that, but I am right now. But still, in my mind, you can't really hang this against LeBron.
Yeah.
I mean,
You could pick one point guard for the Lakers. Would it be Rondo or Ball?
Lonzo Ball.
Lonzo Ball.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Lonzo Ball fan.
I agree with you.
I have supported Lonzo Ball ever since he got picked by the Lakers. I've got a lot of hate for it, but
yeah, no,
still.
I remember you talked about Lonzo Ball before he was drafted.
Yeah, I really love Lonzo Ball. His IQ is so good, but the only thing that's wrong with him is he's not a shooter. But people need to realize that he's not a shooter. He is a passer. He is a playmaker. He is going to pass you the ball. He's going to rebound it. He's going to play tough defense. And he has been shooting good actually this year. He's been hitting his threes good. Rondo's just there to be a teacher in my mind. He's like David Ross when the Cubs won the World Series. He was the teacher for the young catchers there in the Cubs organization. So it's kind of like Tony Parker if you didn't know this year. He's on the Hornets. Kemba Walker, kind of a young point guard-ish. He's going to kind of teach him the way. So Rondo's just there to be a teacher, help Lonzo Ball, the fundamentals. But Lonzo Ball, I mean, Rondo doesn't even know the fundamentals. This dude is fighting, spitting in people's faces. I mean, but yeah, if your question, Lonzo Ball would be my starting point guard. And I'd say that maybe for 90% of the teams. I'd love to start a team with Lonzo Ball. Maybe if I can get Lonzo Ball and a pure shooter as shooting guard, oh man, I'd love that team. That'd be a great team. So going back to the Bulls, do you think it's time for the Bulls to let go of Fred Hoiberg?
Yes.
Do you have like a valid reason why Fred Hoiberg just needs to leave Chicago?
He's just not doing good. That's my only reason.
What coach do you have that would be a great fit for the Bulls?
Mike D'Antoni.
Mike D'Antoni, the coach of the Rockets.
Yes.
Why would you think he'd fit right with the Bulls?
He's a great coach in my eyes.
But I don't blame you. He's a good offensive coach, but I say offense, not defense. Last year, the Rockets were like one of the worst defensive teams, but one of the best offensive teams.
That's what I don't get. They're one of the worst defensive teams, yet they sign Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah, that is so right, Sam, because Carmelo Anthony is one of the worst players on defense.
One of the worst defenders I've ever watched in basketball.
I mean, it's like him. It's like the All-Star game. That's how he defends. He just lets them go, and it's just really ugly, I should say. I mean, it's just, I don't know. Why would they sign Carmelo Anthony when they have one of the worst defenses? And they got rid of one of their best defensive players, Trevor Ariza and I can't say his last name, Luka Bote, something like that. Those were the two best defensive players, and they're gone, and you get rid of them for an overpriced, or not overpriced, my bad, a Carmelo Anthony that's kind of just done. I mean,
he's pretty old now.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, he can have spurts of great games and stuff, but I'd rather have a guy that's consistent than just inconsistent. I mean, this is the NBA. You're trying to compete with the Warriors. You need players that are going to be consistent every night. You can't just have inconsistent players, and that's what Carmelo Anthony is, to my mind, an inconsistent shooter and not a defender.
Yeah, it was a horrible move by the Rockets.
It was. So we'll go to the MLB. Yesterday was an interesting report by John Massey, and, as a White Sox fan, I kind of took a step back. So the White Sox are rumored to sign Manny Machado, who is on the Dodgers but is a free agent, and the Nationals outfielder Bryce Harper. The Sox do have enough money to sign both of them. The Sox have the second lowest payroll in the MLB right now. Jose Abreu is their highest player right now. So, I mean, as a Sox fan, this is like a dream come true. You signed Manny Machado and Bryce Harper, and you got one of the best farm systems in the MLB. I'm just loving this. But if you're being logical, I mean, it's probably not going to happen. It's not going to happen because I think they'll sign one maybe, but I don't think it's logical at all because two MVP caliber players That's hard. They have the money. Don't get me wrong. I've seen Rick Hahn do great things. I'm not going to give up on Rick Hahn. I do hope the Sox sign these both players, and if they do, it will be awesome because Bryce Harper is rumored to go to the Chicago Cubs, and if the Sox can just swoop him, that'd be awesome. That'd be pretty cool.
Highly unlikely. I don't know why Bryce Harper would ever want to go to the White Sox.
I think it's a great idea if he goes to the White Sox because there's a great farm system there. I mean, he sees what the future holds. A great young pitcher, Michael Kopech, who had Tommy John, unfortunately. A great outfielder named Eloy Jimenez, who they got from the Cubs actually, is going to be in the MLB next year. Who's been crushing AAA. You got Yohan Moncada, Jose Abreu. It's a great team. So, Bryce Harper, I feel like he's just going to go in the Chicago area just in general. My friend did say he's going to go to the San Francisco Giants, maybe. That's an interesting choice. But I think he's going to go in the Chicago area. Bryce Harper loves the Chicago area. He went to high school with Chris Bryant, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so they'll be not high school. They're from the same city, my bad.
Yeah.
November 15th is when the MVP for the MLB is announced. They just came out yesterday who are the finalists for the National League is Nolan Arenado, Javi Baez, and Christian Yelich. In my mind,
your boy Christian Yelich.
it's Christian Yelich. Even if it wasn't my boy, I got to say Christian Yelich. If you look at the stats, it's obviously Christian Yelich. You look at the second half he had, it was insane. Don't get me wrong, Javier Baez is a great baseball player. I give him a lot of credit for the year he put on for the Cubs. Great year. But, Christian Yelich just outplayed him in the stat game, and you kind of can't do anything about that.
Numbers don't lie.
For the Red Sox, it's going to probably be J.D. Martinez. The Red Sox, the World Series Red Sox, I should say, recently acquired him. Just had a monster full year, batting over 320, I want to say, over 40 home runs. I mean, it doesn't really get any better than that. Red Sox won the World Series. If you guys didn't know, they beat the Dodgers. Clayton Kershaw did sign back with the Dodgers. It's really interesting. I mean, Clayton Kershaw is not the best postseason pitcher, too. So it's interesting to see, the Dodgers still have faith in him, but the Dodgers have been in the World Series twice in a row and have both failed to win. So it'll be interesting to see, anything that goes on. Sam, what one thing do you think that will happen in sports this week that, next time we'll talk about on our podcast? What's one thing? Just one thing. Yeah, any sport.
I think. All right, soccer.
We'll go soccer on this one.
I'm a big fan of soccer.
Yeah, we'll go soccer on this one.
Manchester United play Juventus tomorrow in the Champions League.
Really?
Yeah, they're away. They're at Juventus. I feel like we can win. I feel like we can surprise Cristiano Ronaldo.
Really?
At his own home.
So you're taking them. That's a good take. I like that actually. For me, this is interesting. I mean, there's not much that's going on in sports this week because college football is kind of dead. The NBA is kind of dead. But if anything, I'm going to say the Nuggets overthrown the Warriors in the Western Conference by next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
Well, that's the next podcast. So, if you guys didn't know, our podcasts are going to be every Tuesday. If you didn't know, go follow our Twitter. We will alert you guys if there's any change dates or anything. Well, Sam, I think that's just going to be it for us. I mean, we really appreciate you guys for tuning in, Sam. Thank you for taking Giovanni's spot. I really appreciate it.
I've had a blast.
Thank you all for tuning in. This is the Double J Podcast, signing off.